PN confirms possible transfer of used Japan surplus Abukuma-class ships, but joint development needed for offensive weapons. The Philippine Navy or PN just officially confirmed through a statement to the press the possible transfer of used Japan surplus LOL Abukuma-class Destroyer Escorts to them, and are now making preparations to conduct a joint visual inspection or JVI soon. A delegation of naval experts are to conduct the in-depth assessment of the ships, after which further deliberations will be made if the vessels will indeed be acquired or not. Meanwhile, here are more details of the possible acquisition from the original article of the Yomiuri Shimbun, the Japanese news publication which first wrote the news about it. The operational guidelines for Japan's 3 principles on the transfer of defense equipment limits any transfer of defense material to only 5 types for rescue, transport, alert, surveillance, and mine-sweeping. Weapons platforms with high offensive capability, such as destroyers, cannot be directly exported. However, such platforms can be exported by using a loophole or technicality, and that is if they go through a joint development. For the Abukuma-class vessels, Japan intends to modify its specifications by incorporating equipment and communication facilities that are required by the Philippines, thus allowing their export. My thoughts. Based on the above news items, it seems that first, the transfer is not final yet. The PN wants to see the vessels first and then discuss things more with Japan and themselves if they still want the ships after the inspection. Second, I now have some of doubts about this transfer because of the listed restrictions. Yes, there are loopholes, but there will be costs involved in using those loopholes, and unless Japan shoulders some or most of it, then the PN will again have to find where to get the money for them. Also, this puts into doubt the export of Japanese weapons themselves, unless the terms offensive weapons and joint development are more readily defined. What are the exact definitions of these? In theory, I think a pistol on board a ship being fired by a person can be considered as an offensive weapon also. Also, what does joint development mean? Does changing the markings on a missile, for example, already constitute as such? Again, the definition will be critical. But bottom line, the export of high-end weapons systems from Japan will likely be complicated and costs money as long as they don't revise their laws. In my opinion, I think the Japanese defense manufacturers are eager to export their products, but are being slowed down by their current laws. I think that somewhere out there, the South Korean and Indian defense manufacturers are now smiling, LOL.